What's up guys, it's Canon24 back at your screens, and this is a video about this camera here. This is the Canon EOS R, and now if you remember, I have actually done a video on this in the past. It was a kind of a review video. It was quite long-winded. It was about 4 months ago, and it was a video where it started off with me filming myself, vlogging-ish kind of thing in the city, where I was kind of wandering around, taking photos, testing out the camera, and it was pretty much at the beginning when I first got this camera. And yeah, so I did that, and then came back here and I did a review kind of video segment about the camera and went into a bit more detail about it. So I'm not really going to go through the specs of this thing again. However, what I can say is that this camera is capable of filming in 4K 30 with a crop, up to 4K 30 with a crop. It can film 4K 30 10-bit 422 with an external recorder. It has 1080p up to 1080p 60, and it has C-Log, and it's a very good camera. Like, until this point, since that video, all of my content has been filmed using this camera, and all of my professional level work that I do has also been done with this camera. Majority of the photos that you'll see on my Instagram that I've taken have been with this camera. This has been my daily driver. This has been my best mate since I bought this, and this video is basically going to be talking about my experience using the EOS R after 4 months and what I think about it genuinely as a camera for content creation, for professional grade work, for whatever you might be using it for. So yeah, we're going to let that intro run as always, and then we're going to come back and talk just about that. Now, just before I move on, if you want to see more videos about cameras and reviews and stuff like that, then make sure you hit that subscribe button, because I'm looking at the stats and about 98% or more of you aren't subscribed to my channel. Why? I'm awesome, come on. How can you not like me and my videos? All jokes aside, please hit that button in all seriousness, because I love the fact that you guys are watching my videos and I want you to not miss out. So please make sure you hit that subscribe button. And anyway, moving back to this. This, yes, is the Canon EOS R, and it has been my daily driver for the past 4 months. And more, I think. I can't remember the exact date that I got this on. So my overall thoughts of this, and like I said, it's not going to be a technical review again. I'm not going to go through all the specs and everything of this camera. I'm going to go through my genuine experiences with this camera and what I think of it in 2021 as a full power workhorse camera for professional work and content creation. And I think it's fantastic. I absolutely love this camera. This probably has to be my favorite camera so far, even after buying a new one. That's a whole other topic. I'm not going to get to that yet. But even after that, I really love this camera. It has a lot of features in it that just work. And yes, is it the best camera out there? No, absolutely not. Is it good enough to do what you need to do on a professional level and on a higher content creation level? Absolutely yes. The couple of things that I absolutely love about this camera is the fact that, one, it has C-Log. Now, C-Log basically means you have that broader dynamic range in your footage, which allows you to capture a lot more detail. And I think it has about 12 stops of dynamic range. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'll put the info here on the screen as always if I am wrong. I can't remember stats off the top of my head like this. The main thing for me is that it films in C-Log and it gives me really good high quality footage, and I've done a lot of professional work for it, video work as well as photography work. So we're going to discuss the video part first. You know, I've done a lot of professional grade work for it, for clients, for weddings, for, you know, online courses. I've done other kind of social media videos and stuff like that, and it's all been done with this camera, and it's fantastic. It has a very nice small form factor, and I love the kind of form factor it's got. The grip on this when I'm using it is absolutely perfect. My fingers and hands are exactly where I need it to be. The dials, the toggles, everything on it is in the right place for me, and it just fits my hand perfectly. It's a really good form factor. It's nice, small and compact enough to be able to kind of go in your camera bag, and you know, you don't have to worry about carrying a bulky DSLR camera with you. Because I've compared this to things like the 5D series cameras, because I recently got a very cheap deal on a 5D Mark II. It's a very old camera. I've got my reasons for getting it, but and I compared the size, and wow, there's a difference in both weight and size. And I can say that, you know, if I were to, you know, use a professional level DSLR camera in comparison to this, it would add a lot of bulk and take up a lot of real estate in my bag. So having this of such a small form factor is really handy. Now the other thing I really like, and a lot of cameras do have this, especially, you know, cameras like the EOS R5 have this same kind of feature, is that the top LCD screen. I know a lot of pro level DSLR cameras also have this, and it's very handy for me because it's just a quick, if I'm kind of filming or shooting or doing something and I want to quickly switch modes to something that I've got preset, one of my custom modes, then I can just press the mode buttons, toggle to the right, and you can see it straight here. I don't have to kind of go like that and do it. I'm in position already, you know, I'm filming, I'm recording, whatever I'm doing with it, I can quickly toggle. That's a very handy feature. Obviously it's got the kind of light button up there which lightens up the LCD in case you need to use it in the dark or in low light situations. So it's very handy for me. The other thing is the flip screen. And obviously any camera that a content creator is going to buy should have a flip LCD screen, because this basically means that I can hold it out and use it as a vlogging camera. And I do. This is part of my primary vlogging rig. I did a shorts on it. I think it was a shorts. Yes, it's a shorts video that I did on it very recently, and I showed off what my kind of vlogging rig is. And it's basically this. And it's light enough that you can use it as a vlogging camera as well. Like obviously if you're going to be just vlogging and that's your primary thing, then something smaller like Canon M50 is probably a better choice. However, when you compare what the Canon M50 is capable to this camera, then this is definitely superior. By all intents and purposes, it is a professional camera, so, or it is professional level mirrorless camera, so it is going to have features that the M50 doesn't. However, you know, back to what I was saying, you know, the flip camera is absolutely handy, and I've kind of used it a lot, especially just kind of angling the camera in different angles when I'm taking photos. If I'm recording videos handheld, you know, I can flip the LCD out to the side, toggle it around, tilt it, pan it, however I wanted to, angle it so that I can see the LCD whilst I'm recording what I need to record. And that's really handy, especially if I'm going to do really low shots or high up shots. If I'm, you know, I'm kind of trying to get a shot over the tops of heads of people for whatever reason, then I can kind of tilt it towards myself, hold the camera up, tilt it towards myself, see what I'm going to take a picture of, and then take a picture of it, or record and take a recording of it. So it is a really good form factor, and it's just, you know, ergonomically, I really like the way this camera feels. Now, in terms of the quality of what it produces, it's really good. Like, you can't really fault the quality of this camera at all. Now, if you're really picky and you want that extreme level 4K, 8K, 6K, whatever K quality you want, then yeah, this isn't probably the camera that you're going to want to go for. But if you're looking for something that produces fantastic 1080p footage, or even good Super 35 4K footage, then this is probably a good, really good filmmaking, you know, amateur filmmaking camera or content creation camera. Because even though the 4K is cropped by about 1.6 times or 1.7 times, I can't remember the exact crop factor, but it's cropped by quite a bit, and it basically turns it into an APS-C crop factor camera. If you look at that in comparison to a lot of cinema cameras out there, a lot of cinema cameras actually have Super 35 sensors, meaning that their sensors are crop factor sensors. So it does really help mimic that. It is a little bit inconvenient because you don't get the full focal length of the lenses you're going to use. For example, if you're using a 16mm lens on this with a 4K, then it becomes like a 25mm, and that's not really convenient because you might want that 16mm and that 4K. So yeah, if you're going to be using the 4K for things like vlogging and stuff like that, then it's probably not the most convenient thing. However, if you're going to be using for everything else, filmmaking and stuff like that, and you want to get that good 8-bit 4K out of it internally, then you know, 8-bit 4K log, it does a fantastic job of. I've never had it overheat on me. File sizes can be a little bit big, so I would recommend getting something like a high quality UHS-2 SD card. But other than that, it produces really high quality footage, and even the 1080p is fantastic. Like almost all of my video work is done in 1080p, and what I do is when I render it out in post as a 4K file, so when I upload it, the compression doesn't affect the 1080p quality as much. So in that sense, the video footage that comes out of this camera is actually superb. Now, if you know creators like Peter McKinnon, he's done videos entirely using this camera, such as his bucket shot video, which I absolutely love. I think I've watched that video several times. Peter McKinnon, big shout out to you, fantastic filmmaker, photographer, content creator, like huge inspiration. But yeah, his bucket shot video was done entirely using the EOS R, because at that time the EOS R was the brand new thing, and you can see from the quality of that video how good it is. Now obviously I'm not as pro as a filmmaker to make something of that high of quality. However, for what I have done with this in terms of professional work, which I've done quite a bit now in terms of video, it's produced really, really good results, and I've never had a client that has complained about it. Now, one thing that I haven't had the opportunity to test is the 4K 10-bit 422 external recording, because I don't have an external recorder. Now, I've not really needed it because most of my work can be done with an internal recording. However, as I get more and more professional, I might invest in one, and I'll come back to you with the 4K quality on that. I'm guessing it's going to be really, really good quality. So for those kind of filmmakers who do have the gear to be able to use the 10-bit 4K external recording, then I would highly recommend doing that, because you do get a higher quality image out of it. So video wise, amazing. Now, photography wise, even better. I can't really complain about this in terms of photography. It has got a 30 megapixel camera, 30 plus megapixels. I can't remember exactly how much. I think it's 30.2. Again, it'll show up on the screen, so forgive me if I say it wrong. But the camera quality in terms of images is fantastic. It's got great autofocus. It's got tracking, eye tracking autofocus, face tracking autofocus. It's fantastic. It like has done the job for me. You can see how much I've used it, to the point, you know, it actually looks older than it really is. It looks older than a 4-month-old camera, because of the amount of work that I put this through. And for that much work, it has performed brilliantly. I've got the battery grip that goes underneath here, which basically gives it that pro body feel like the 1DX series cameras. Image wise, it's fantastic. You can see for yourself from my Instagram feed how good the quality of this camera is. And again, I've never had any clients come back and complain about the image quality of the photos that they've received back, because I shoot everything in RAW, and you know, once it's edited in Lightroom, high quality JPEGs, fantastic. And even with the JPEG quality in this camera, it's got Canon's color science, so it produces already really high quality JPEG. So if you are that kind of person who just wants to take a quick snap, push it over to their phone and post it on social media without doing intense amounts of editing, you know, and you want to just take some JPEG photos of it, then this definitely has the option to do that. It's just a really good camera. So that's basically all I wanted to say in this video. That I have been in love with this camera for the past 4 months. I had my eye on it for a very long time. I managed to get it. I've been using it as my pro camera, and I'm probably going to continue using it moving forward, because it's just that good. You know, even if I upgrade, this is always going to be there. It's got a really special place in my heart. It's my first professional level camera, and you know, definitely got a very, very good place in my heart. And would I recommend it in 2021 for somebody who's looking to get a pro level mirrorless camera? Yes, absolutely would recommend it, because it gives you all the features you need, especially for things like content creation and even professional level work. It has all the features you need. It's not really lacking in anything major. Yes, the 4K has a bit of a crop factor, but let's face it, if you're going to be doing content creation, how much of that are you really going to be filming in 4K? Anything bigger than 4K and above is going to give you huge file sizes. Editing is a nightmare. You know, I just recommend doing 1080. And you know, the fact that it only goes up to 1080-60, is that a problem? Not really. 1080-60 is still fantastic. You can get really good slow motion footage out of it. You know, I don't think for a content creator or anybody looking to get this as their first camera, you need anything more than that. Plus the price point now, in comparison to things like the R6 or the R5 or the new R3 that are coming out, yes, it's an older camera. Does it hold its own against them? Probably does. For the price point that you're getting it at, you're getting it a lot cheaper than any of those cameras at the moment. You know, it's still a really good competitor for kind of competing cameras like the Sony a7 III. I don't really know any other cameras that would compete with this in terms of specs, but yeah, it's definitely a camera that's worth getting for content creators, or for anybody who's looking to do professional level work and want to move from an APS-C camera to a full frame camera, or want to move from DSLR to mirrorless without spending the premium, then this is definitely a great body. And that's really all I wanted to talk about. Just praises for this camera. Fantastic little camera, highly recommend it. And yes, very good camera, even in 2021, for things like content creation and professional level work. So if you guys did enjoy that, and you know, if it was informative, then please do hit that like button. And if you enjoy my content in general, like I said before, hit that subscribe button so you can see more of my content and can know when it comes out. And if you want to know exactly when it comes out, then hit that notification bell. So this is Kai24 with my EOS R, signing out for today.